Hello mate, how you doing? I'm going to ask you quite an important question every man needs to ask himself at some point in his life. What is your mission? What is your purpose here on this earth? Why are you here? Do you have a good enough reason for being? Do you wake up and you are fucking excited? Or do you wake up and you feel this sense of passion and drive and motivation to get something done and be like, I have a reason to wake up. I have things to do. I can't wait to bring about my vision into this life, into this world. Do you experience these things? Or, unfortunately, are you like the majority, where you wake up with a general feeling of dread, where you're not really sure why you're here, why you do what you do, what you want, who you are? I'm not speaking at you about this from an ivory tower, man. I'm not saying that I'm not speaking from a place of superiority. I'm in the fucking trenches with you, man. I promise you. I lived this way for years, of not knowing who I was, what I was doing, what I give a fuck about. I felt emotionally numb for years, man. And I thought it was normal. I thought it was normal because I was numb. I was numbing myself with pleasure-seeking activities. Video games, porn, weed I was smoking for a while, vaping, eating shitty food, which is something I'm still working on. And the reason why I thought that it was normal to not have a mission in life is because no one else around me seemed to have a mission. And I was too emotionally numb to actually realize the pain, the existential pain that I was living in as a result of not having a fucking reason to be alive. A man cannot stand a meaningless life. So if you don't know your mission, then we're going to figure it out, man, in this video. I'm going to ask you a series of questions and I want you to ponder them. The first question I want you to ask yourself is, what do you care about? What makes you angry about the world? What makes you sad about the world? What do you wish were different? When I ask myself this question, I realize that it makes me very sad that men exist in this world. Nobody encourages them. Nobody supports them. Nobody helps them realize the potential that lies within them. And you know what pisses me off? Is that this society does not give a fuck about men. That's what makes me angry. What makes you angry? Don't just skip the parts of the video just to go to the questions, write them down and move on. Really ask yourself this question. What do you care about? Something to consider though, which is important. When you are stuck trying to meet your survival needs, it's very hard to care about something beyond yourself. So if you don't get an answer to this question, maybe that's a sign that you actually just have some basic needs that you need to have met, like security, getting your finances in order, getting some friends, finding a romantic relationship or whatever, taking care of your health. I will acknowledge that you meet those needs and that question is much easier to answer. But there's another question that I want you to ask yourself. The second question is this. When you were younger, what drove you? What drove you when you were younger? What I mean by that is, what did you love to do? What were your passions? What were your interests? What were your curiosities? What did you absolutely dislike? What did you not want to do? What did you shy away from? What did you run away from? Ugh. The reason why I ask you this question, man, is because when you were a kid, you were the most authentic you will probably ever be. But then the world got its hooks into you. Other people got their hooks into you. And you changed your personality, didn't you? We all do this. You adopted a persona to be liked by everybody, to get along, to fit in. But in the process of doing so, you forgot who you were, didn't you? So that's where you got to look. In your childhood. Because when you bring those things, the things that you really love, the things that drove you, into your daily life, that's when you start feeling a sense of passion and motivation again. Because your interests, the things that interest you, the things that make you feel passionate, they're not an accident. There's a reason why you're passionate about something that I'm not passionate about. It's almost like the universe has given you specific interests and given you potential pathways that the universe hasn't given me. That's not an accident. We will not find a sense of mission and purpose if our strengths and skills have nothing to do with the pursuit. When we're in a state of what positive psychology calls flow, which is when the challenge that you're engaging in, the task at hand, is just challenging enough for you to be very engaging and to occupy your full attention. That's when time becomes irrelevant and you're just thoroughly enjoying whatever you're doing. You're completely at one with reality when you're in this state. You can be in flow while you're playing the violin or playing the piano or whatever in the moment, but you can also zoom out and be in flow in a more broader sense in your life. That's when you wake up and your mind is quiet, but you're just taking action that feels extremely fulfilling. In order to do that, you need to be aware of what your strengths and skills are. Life is way more fun when you're identifying your skills and strengths and you are playing to those. Life is not as fun and not as enjoyable and not as purposeful and fulfilling and meaningful when you're just identifying every single insufficiency and trying to patch them all up. Being aware of what you're not good at is important, but let's double down on your strengths. So the question I'm asking you, man, is what signposts have you received in your life? When I talk about signposts, I'm like, what strengths do you have that other people have commented on? What skills do you possess that other people have mentioned? When I was a kid, turns out I was a damn good writer. I had teachers telling me this pretty much constantly, but I ignored it. It wasn't until about 6 months ago I started writing online, and then the world told me that. They're like, holy shit, your writing's amazing. Here's a bunch of money. And the next one is perhaps the most profound of any of this. And this is the work of years. What is your deepest pain? And how can you use that to serve the world? Here's the thing. If you're willing to go into your deepest pain, it is there that you find the deepest way that you will also serve other people. To give you an example, one of my deepest traumas, one of my deepest pains is when my mother passed away, and then in the subsequent years after that, I felt completely and utterly alone. I don't want, as a result of this process, as a result of connecting to my trauma, I now realize that it really motivates me to help men not feel so alone. It also motivates me to help other men too, because at the time, my father and my brother were suffering and I didn't know how to help them. By me connecting to that trauma and that wounding and that pain, I was able to identify something that I really care about. If you're in the business of finding your purpose right now, I made a video, I think it was over a year ago now, 7 more questions to find your life purpose. There might actually be some overlap with this video. But check this video out now, mate. Click on this one, because the questions I shared in this video, as well as this one, will give you more than enough journaling material to identify some truths about what your mission could be in this life. Mate, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.